here at 17-0 CVCA, and we've got a halftime guest, Sam Amico from, NBA insider Sam Amico, class of 1986 here at CVCA. Good to meet you, Sam. Welcome.
Great to be here.
To the Science 330 halftime report.
Thank you.
So, we called you NBA insider, founder of hoopwise.com, and it all started out here at CVCA.
Yes, it did.
Your career's taking you to Wyoming.
Yes.
Utah.
Wyoming. I was in Utah. I was in Idaho for a little bit. Went to West Virginia, and then back to the Cleveland area.
So it's taking you to all those places, but it started right here at CVCA.
Yes.
After all these years, what draws you back to Royal Stadium?
Well, first of all, I remember I was just talking about how I ran this track in 1985 to make the basketball team. We had to do it in 6 minutes.
Okay.
I did it. It took me 2 times, and I did it in 5:59 on the second time.
So you made it by
made the
that
team,
much?
right? Yeah. I think the coach made it help me out a little bit, but it's just
it
really
wasn't. It was a timed. It wasn't the official.
No, I think he was just counting in his head, maybe. So
5:59.
Yeah, right.
So,
I got lucky there, but I just love it. I live in Cuyahoga Falls again after, finally moved back after 35 years. So it's just great to be here and great to see the changes.
So talk about your time. Talk about your time at CVCA. It's changed a ton, huh?
Yeah, and it really it almost. I was driving up here tonight and it almost brought a tear to my eye thinking about just how much it's changed in such a positive way in terms of the facilities and the school itself. I came back for a class reunion, I guess it was a couple of years ago,
right.
And we got a tour. Roger Taylor gave us a tour of the school, and just, you see where the library is now and how big it is. And I remember at one point during the chapel service, I think it was my sophomore year, I went up in front of the school chapel, which was in the gym at the time.
Right, the old gym, which is now a music area.
Right, and I went up in front of that, and I just remember being so nervous and scared. I never envisioned, talking for a living really is kind of writing and talking. I never envisioned that. So I just think it's amazing what God has given to this school and how it's really just kind of come to a whole nother level, which is something I would have never envisioned in 1986.
Yeah, so you talked about going up in front of chapel. Talk about that part of your experience here and how that's carried you through your life.
Yeah,
and you and I are about the same age. We've just met,
right.
But it's been a while.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. But obviously, for a long time being involved with the NBA and covering the NBA and really getting, you really have to immerse yourself in that. It took probably 5-6 years ago, it took a step back and said, let's have Bring Jesus to Work Day. How we have Bring Kids Work Day?
Right.
I thought, let's start having Bring Jesus to Work Day. And really so much of that is from my background here, obviously my family life, but there's just such great, instruction and such good kind of ingraining that in you when I was here, and I'm so thankful that I went to school here.
None of us have a walk with Christ that is linear.
Right.
But he says, I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. So whether you're on the path or you're off the path, when you bring Jesus to work and you bring Jesus to your life, he has always been there. So that's great.
Right.
So you talk about chapel being in the gym. So you spent some time in that gym. I heard you can shoot the rock a little bit back in the day.
I take great pride in that. I could shoot. I couldn't defend. I really didn't rebound. I didn't pass very well. You can ask some of my former teammates. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in that old gym with the old blue floor that, of course, is not there anymore. For middle school, our 9th grade games were there. And then, of course, played my junior and senior year for Greg McDivitt, who was at the school for a long time. Was actually at my 50th birthday party, surprise party. He showed up. So it was a great experience playing basketball here. Just really, I actually played 2 years in college. And it was, from that aspect, it really, because the school was so much smaller then, I wouldn't make the team today. But then, it gave me an opportunity to pursue my career and really led to my love of basketball.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get to that. So, but first, I did a little research on your career. And, we've got a little paper here, so we show it right there. There's a box score.
Okay.
And it's from
I'm in it, huh?
You're in it December 31st, 1985. I want to know what happened in the third quarter against Nordonia the Royals led at halftime and then got outscored 17-8, and there's Amico right here.
That's probably why I got in the game. It started to be
1 for 3 points.
Yeah, that's probably why I ended up, that the lead changed there. Probably they put me in, and then all of a sudden, Nordonia goes on a big run in the third quarter. And
you remember these guys in the box score?
Oh, gosh.
Rampa, Hastings, Twitty?
I sure do. I still see Brian Twitty every once in a while. I know all these guys. John Bauer, John Hastings, Steve Rampa.
It looks like Hastings was the guy. He was the go-to guy on the team.
Hastings was a heck of a player. Yeah, he was a year younger than me, but a heck of a player. Actually, probably even, believe it or not, I'm 5'9" on a good day. He's a little smaller than me, but he could really play. And Dan Kaiser's a couple years younger. Fantastic player. So
this is December 31st, Akron Beacon Journal. 1985, Nordonia stopped CVCA 62-54 despite a brief halftime lead, or a small halftime lead for the Royals, and John Hastings scored 21 in that.
That was the first CVCA team to win a school tournament game in the public school tournament.
And who's head coach again?
Greg McDivitt
and
was
he came to your 50th birthday party.
That's right.
So you went to college, you played a little hoops, but you realized maybe hoops is not my career. Talk about your career a little bit. You mentioned some of the places you stopped, and you got all the way back here. How do you go from CVCA to NBA insider?
Well, gosh, it's a long road. Obviously, I'm old, but I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. I went to college. I majored in psychology.
Yep.
I thought I'd be a psychologist. That's what I wanted to do. Maybe today I still want to do it. I don't know, but it's too late. But I got a part-time job at the Beacon Journal. I transferred to Kent State.
Right.
And I got a part-time job there. My buddy said, come on in. It's easy. It's part-time. It's minimum wage, and it's night, so it fits in with college.
Journalism is always minimum wage at the start.
Yeah. I don't know that it's much better longer after that. But I went in there and started answering phones, and I thought, I saw all the sports writers come in and out, and I thought, wow, you can do this as a full-time job. This is what I want to do. So they let me write a couple stories, like high school football games, and I took that and put a resume together, and I started in Ohio with my resume, and I worked my way out west, and the first place to call me was this tiny little newspaper in Wyoming.
Right.
And I said, well, that's all I got, so I guess I got to go. And I went out there, and I thought I'd be there 6 months, get my feet wet or whatever. And I was there, like I said, 7 years. And I went from there to West Virginia, became sports editor in West Virginia. Real quickly, when I was the sports editor of West Virginia, I started an email newsletter about the NBA, and I sent it to everybody's email I could find in the NBA.
And that's how it turned into...
And I got from there to NBA.com, said, hey, we have an opening for a Cavs writer. Would you like to do it? And I was actually taking a pay cut. My pay was being cut in half. And I said, yes, absolutely. When do I start? And I moved back here, lived with my sister for a little bit because I couldn't afford to live on my own. And then I went from there, and Fox Sports Ohio had a full-time opening, and right away
the
offered
rest
me
is
the
history.
job. Yeah.
If you've watched the Cavs games, you know this guy sitting to my right.
For better or worse, the rest is history.
For better or for worse. So congratulations on all the success that you have had. So I'm going to list a couple of, three different basketball personalities, one word, and I want to get your first thoughts on these individuals. So a couple of, well, no, they're not all NBA guys, but nevertheless, Here we go. Ready? John Wooden.
Oh, just a great teacher, great leader. We're still quoting him today, and his quotes are about 50 years old. So, yeah, I just think of a great teacher and leader.
John Wooden, so the famous UCLA basketball coach. Got to say that LeBron James.
LeBron James, obviously a great LeBron story I have real quick. I've dealt with him multiple times, obviously, in one-on-one situations covering the Cavs. One time I was shooting a video after the game for my website.
Right.
And I was holding it up, and he walked out of the locker room. It was about an hour and a half after the game. LeBron came out, and he says, "What are you doing there?" And I stopped the phone. I said, "Well, I was making a video until you interrupted." He's like, "Do you want a one-on-one?" And I was like, "No, I want to do my video." And he's like, "Okay, sorry." So I actually told off LeBron in a very fun-loving way. But he used to...
And lived to tell about it.
And I lived to tell about it. And LeBron used to get on me because he wanted to change the Browns' colors to black and orange. And I would say, they're called the Browns. And you know what LeBron's response was? Well, Green High School isn't green.
Yeah,
so anyway.
Yeah.
That's
LeBron is not going to win that one.
No, right. He's not going to
It was hard enough to watching him in all white last weekend.
That's right.
That's right. All right, this one's got a CVCA connection. Darren Peterson.
Oh, fantastic young man, fantastic player. I obviously followed his career. I can't help but think he's going to be a top 5 draft pick in the NBA when, 2 years, I guess it would be. Just a fantastic talent and really probably the best. Before I covered the NBA, I probably covered 300, 400 high school basketball games in my career. He's the best player I've seen, and that probably includes LeBron in high school. I mean, I don't know that he's going to be a better pro.
That is high praise right there.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough to try and toggle together a few cameras and do a couple of his games while he was here. Darren Peterson now playing basketball in California, and
that's how today goes.
1 year away from making a college, or soon will make a college decision, and have a year in college, and you'll be covering him in the NBA.
I'm sure I will be.
All right. Well, Sam, I feel like we're just getting started. We probably need to do a podcast or something like that. But halftime moves quickly, and we've got a lot to get to. So I appreciate you taking some time
Thank you so
to
much
come back
for
to
having
CVCA.
Me. Yeah.
Sam Amico, 1986 class graduate at CVCA, NBA insider, founder of HoopsWise.com, and CVCA Livestream halftime guest tonight. It's halftime at Royal Stadium at homecoming. The Royals leading the Fairless Falcons 17-0.
Go Royals.